All right, so we're diving into a classic today.
Okay.
Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
All right.
The one that paints a future so shiny it's almost blinding, but with a darkness lurking underneath. We're talking designer babies, happiness on tap, and a whole lot of questions about what it really means to be human.
Mm.
Nearly a century later, Huxley's vision still has this power to unsettle us, doesn't it?
It really does.
Makes you wonder, why does this book still resonate so deeply?
Well, it's like Huxley tapped into some fundamental anxieties about where humanity's headed.
Yeah.
Technology, unchecked consumerism, the desire for control. These were concerns in 1932, and they're even more potent today.
Right.
Brave New World isn't just a prediction.
Yeah.
It's a cautionary tale.
Okay, so let's unpack this cautionary tale.
Okay.
I'm picturing a world of sleek, chrome, and sterile labs.
Uh-huh.
But what's it like on a human level to actually live in the world state?
Imagine a world where your entire existence is predetermined. You're literally grown in a lab. Your intelligence and social function
Yeah.
pre-programmed,
Wow.
divided into castes from alpha to epsilon.
Oh, wow.
Forget family dinners.
Right.
Your family is everyone in your caste.
It's like social media taken to the extreme,
Yes.
constantly comparing yourself to others.
Exactly.
But with your place in the hierarchy already decided at a cellular level,
Right.
no striving, no climbing the ladder,
Nope.
just accepting your predetermined spot.
Just accepting it.
I bet that messes with your head.
Absolutely. And if any cracks in that contentment start to show, there's always soma,
Yep.
a drug that washes away any unpleasant emotions,
Wow.
any urges to question the status quo.
So it's happiness through chemistry.
Yeah.
But that raises a huge question. What are they sacrificing for this manufactured bliss?
That's the heart of Huxley's critique.
Okay.
He's asking, can you have true happiness without freedom?
Right.
What's the point of a life without struggle, without the possibility of real earned joy?
It's like that old saying, smooth seas don't make skilled sailors.
Exactly.
But Huxley takes it a step further, doesn't he?
He does.
It's not just about individual growth.
Right.
It's about what it means to be human in the first place.
Exactly. And that's where the characters come in.
Okay.
They embody these philosophical struggles in a way that makes them feel disturbingly real.
So let's start with Bernard Marx.
Okay.
He's an alpha right, top of the food chain, so to speak.
He is.
But he's not exactly sipping soma and enjoying the party.
Well, Bernard is fascinating.
Yeah.
He's got all the advantages of his caste,
Ah.
intelligence, a
Yeah.
prestigious job,
Mm-hmm.
but he's deeply dissatisfied.
Oh, wow.
There's a part of him that craves genuine connection,
Yeah.
something more than the empty rituals of the world state.
Okay.
He sees through the facade of happiness, and it terrifies him.
Almost like he's waking up from a dream that everyone else is still trapped in.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And then you have Lenny in a crown,
Okay.
a beta, who
Yeah.
on the surface seems perfectly content.
Okay.
She embraces the world state's values, casual sex, constant entertainment soma on demand.
Wow.
But there are these subtle hints that even Lenina has moments of doubt,
Okay.
of yearning for something more.
She's like the poster child for the world state, but with a flicker of rebellion hidden beneath the surface.
Yes.
Makes you wonder if anyone can truly escape their conditioning.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's this wild card, John the Savage.
Yeah.
He's raised outside the world state,
Right.
on a reservation where life is raw, messy, and steeped in tradition.
He's the ultimate outsider.
Yes.
The one who shows us the world state through completely fresh eyes.
Exactly.
I bet that's a rude awakening for everyone involved.
It is.
Yeah.
John has this almost Shakespearean understanding of love loss and the full spectrum of human emotion.
Oh, wow.
He's repulsed by the world state's sterility,
Yeah.
but he's also strangely drawn to its seductive promises of comfort and pleasure.
So we have these three characters, each representing a different perspective on the world state. Bernard, the disillusioned insider. Lenina, the seemingly contented product of the system.
Yes,
And John, the outsider, who throws everything into question.
exactly.
This is where things get really interesting, right?
It is.
It's that clash of worldviews that allows Huxley to explore these really big, uncomfortable themes.
Absolutely. He tackles everything from technology's potential for control to the tension between happiness and freedom.
Right.
And it's all anchored in the very human struggles of these characters, making those philosophical questions deeply personal.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with the theme that feels most relevant today, like technology and control.
Okay.
Huxley paints a pretty chilling picture of how technology can be used to manipulate entire populations.
He does. He takes it far beyond gadgets and entertainment in the world. Technology controls every stage of life, from conception to death.
Oh, wow.
They've mastered genetic engineering, sleep teaching, even sensory experiences,
Right.
all designed to mold people into perfectly compliant citizens.
It makes you wonder if we're already on that path, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about algorithms that curate what we see online,
Mm-hmm.
the constant tracking of our data.
Right.
It's not that far removed from Huxley's vision.
That's the brilliance of the book.
Yeah,
It exaggerates trends that were already emerging in Huxley's time
right.
and forces us to confront their potential consequences.
Okay.
He's not saying technology is inherently evil,
Right.
but he's warning us about the dangers of blindly embracing it without considering the ethical implications.
It's that slippery slope argument, right?
Yeah.
We start with things that seem beneficial, convenience, efficiency, even a sense of security. But how easily do those things morph into tools of control?
Exactly. And in Brave New World, that control is all about maintaining this facade of happiness.
Right.
Which brings us to the central question of the book.
Okay.
Can you truly engineer happiness?
Mm-hmm.
Is it even desirable to eliminate all suffering, all struggle?
That's a tough one. I mean, who wouldn't want a world without pain or sadness?
Right.
But as we see with Bernard and John, that kind of manufactured happiness comes at a steep price.
Yes.
They crave something more,
Yeah.
a depth of experience, a sense of purpose that goes beyond just feeling good all the time.
They're yearning for something that the world state has deliberately eradicated.
Okay.
The full spectrum of human emotions.
Yeah.
It's that messy, unpredictable, sometimes painful side of life that gives us a sense of who we are.
And there's another chilling aspect to the world state's happiness project.
Okay.
Consumerism.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that motto, ending is better than mending.
Oh, yes.
It's like the ultimate justification for our throwaway culture.
Huxley taps into this dark side of consumerism, the constant craving for new things, the disposability of relationships, and even people.
Wow.
It's all about keeping the economic engine running, even if it means sacrificing genuine connection and lasting satisfaction.
And this theme of alienation, it runs through the entire book, doesn't it?
It does.
Bernard feels like an outcast, even among his fellow alphas.
Yeah.
John is completely lost in the world state's artificial paradise.
Right.
It seems like true connection is impossible in a world where everyone is conditioned to be superficially happy.
That's the paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've achieved stability and material abundance, but at the cost of deep, meaningful relationships.
Wow.
Huxley is showing us that even in a world designed to eliminate suffering, people can still feel profoundly alone.
It's a powerful reminder that happiness can't be imposed from the outside.
Right.
It has to come from within, from a sense of belonging, of purpose, of authentic connection.
Yeah.
And Brave New World forces us to ask if we're sacrificing those things in our own pursuit of comfort and convenience.
Absolutely. And that's why this book continues to resonate so strongly, even nearly a century later.
Yeah.
It's not just about a dystopian future.
Right.
It's about the choices we make every day that shape the world we live in.
So we've explored the dark underbelly of the world state, the control, the manufactured happiness, the alienation.
Yeah.
But the book has also sparked some debate over the years, right?
It has. Some critics find Huxley's vision too simplistic, too deterministic.
Okay.
They argue that real human societies are far more complex.
Right.
And that people are not so easily manipulated.
It's true that the world state feels like an extreme case.
Yeah.
A kind of thought experiment designed to push these ideas to their limit. But isn't that the point of dystopian fiction?
It is.
To show us the potential consequences of our choices, even if they're exaggerated for effect.
Exactly. And even if the world state feels a bit over the top,
Yeah.
it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our own tendencies.
Right.
Do we value convenience over privacy, instant gratification over long-term fulfillment?
Yeah.
Huxley's exaggerations highlight those vulnerabilities in a way that a more realistic portrayal might not.
Another point of contention is the character of Lenina.
Okay.
Some find her portrayal a bit flat, almost a caricature of a mindless consumer.
I can see that argument.
Okay.
On the surface, Lenina does seem to embody the world state's values, without question.
Right.
But if you look closely, there are moments when she reveals a flicker of something more,
Oh.
a sense of curiosity, even a hint of rebellion.
So she's not just a mindless drone.
Right.
but a product of her environment who's maybe starting to question the rules of the game.
Exactly. And that ambiguity is what makes her so interesting.
Yeah,
She raises questions about the limits of conditioning
right.
and the potential for even the most seemingly compliant individuals to break free.
Which brings us to Huxley himself.
Okay.
This wasn't just some random dystopian fantasy he cooked up,
What
right?
was it?
There's a lot of his own personal history and intellectual journey woven into the book.
Absolutely. Brave New World was actually a response to H.G. Wells's Men Like Gods,
Oh, okay.
the utopian novel that Huxley found overly optimistic.
So he was like, hold on, Wells, let's
Yeah.
get real about what a technologically advanced society might actually look like.
Exactly. And Huxley's concerns were rooted in the historical context of his time.
Okay.
He was writing in the aftermath of World War I,
Right.
witnessing the rise of totalitarian regimes and the rapid advancements in technology that could be used for both good and evil.
It's like he saw the seeds of dystopia being sown in his own time,
Yeah.
and Brave New World was his attempt to warn us about what might grow from them.
And it's fascinating to think about Huxley's own intellectual evolution.
Mm-hmm.
He was deeply interested in human consciousness
Okay.
and even experimented with psychedelic drugs later in life.
Wow.
Some scholars believe that his exploration of altered states of reality influenced his portrayal of the world state's reliance on soma
Right.
and manufactured experiences.
Okay, that's a bit mind-blowing. The guy who wrote one of the most famous dystopian novels was also tripping on psychedelics and exploring the frontiers of consciousness.
It is, and it speaks to Huxley's willingness to challenge conventional thinking
Mm-hmm.
and to explore the full range of human experience, both light and dark.
It also makes you realize that Brave New World isn't just a warning about technology or social control.
Yikes.
It's a book about the human condition, about what it means to be truly alive, and what we're willing to sacrifice in our pursuit of happiness and security.
Exactly. And that's a conversation that transcends time and place.
Yeah.
It's as relevant today as it was when Huxley first penned those chilling words nearly a century ago.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, but I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We have. There's so much depth to Brave New World, so much to unpack and debate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving us this toolkit for critical thinking.
Yeah.
A lens through which to examine the world around us.
He is. And that's why Brave New World isn't just a book you read.
Right.
It's a book you grapple with.
You really have to think about it.
Yeah. It sparks debates, challenges assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
and makes you question everything you thought you knew about happiness, freedom, and what it means to be human.
And that's what we kind of hope you'll take away from this deep dive, right? It's not about memorizing plot points or reciting themes.
Right.
It's about engaging with those big questions that Huxley raises.
What would you sacrifice for a life of guaranteed happiness?
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line between convenience and control?
Right.
What does true connection look like in a world increasingly driven by technology and instant gratification?
These are questions that linger long after you've closed the book.
They do.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
What resonated with you most in Brave New World? Did you find yourself drawing parallels to your own life to the world around us?
We're all on this journey together, navigating a world that's increasingly complex and technologically driven.
Right.
And as we face new challenges and grapple with new ethical dilemmas,
Yeah.
the insights of Brave New World become even more relevant.
To keep those questions in mind as you move through your day.
Okay.
Pay attention to the subtle ways in which technology shapes your experiences, the
Yeah.
choices you make as a consumer, and the values you prioritize in your relationships.
Because the future isn't predetermined.
Yeah.
It's being shaped right now by all of us.
Right.
And the more aware we are of the forces at play,
Mm-hmm.
the more empowered we are to make choices that align with our values
Right.
and create a world that's truly worthy of the name brave.
And remember, this conversation doesn't end here.
No.
Pick up Brave New World, explore its depths, and let's continue this discussion together.
Yes.
Let us know your thoughts. We're always eager to hear what our listeners are thinking and feeling.
Because ultimately, the power of a book like this lies not just in the words on the page, but in the conversations it sparks, the reflections it inspires,
Yeah,
and the actions it motivates.
absolutely.
Leap exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Great advice. Thanks for joining me today to talk about this.
Thanks for having me.